This Wadcast is sponsored by MindWare. MindWare is an award-winning creator, manufacturer, and distributor of educational toys for children and toddlers. Their diverse product line includes games, puzzles, brain teasers, art activities, and more, each designed to educate and entertain. Find their award-winning games and creative resources in their online store at mindware.com. MindWare is committed to providing educators with the best educational toys in the world, backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Today on our Wattcast, we're discussing something really interesting to me personally, and I know to our audience, and that's the use of games and motivating kinds of activities in the classroom, and just how teachers can effectively incorporate these things into their lessons and also their classroom management techniques. Now, to help me with this really interesting discussion, I am joined today by Lori Johnson, who is a former teacher, and also Shenaya Shannon from MindWare, our sponsor. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Let's start by learning a little bit about you. Lori, let's start with you. Can you tell us a bit about your background?
Hi, I am an education consultant for my own business, Think to Learn. I began about 15 years ago training K through 12 teachers and administrators in the areas of gifted education and differentiated instruction. I am also a Illinois State gifted trainer, a former classroom teacher, and gifted coordinator.
Great. And you have several children, I understand.
Yes, 4, and I'm married to an administrator.
Awesome. Terrific. We're so glad to have you, Lori. Thanks. Now, Shenaya, tell us a bit about your background.
Hi, I've been here at MindWare for about 8 years now, working directly with product. Here we work with various vendors and, to make sure that we have quality product for the classroom. I do have 2 younger children, 5 and 10, that also enjoy our products and work well.
Terrific. Well, I always think being a parent is about as good a education background as any of us could have. So thanks for including that in your background. Let's jump right into this discussion today. Lori, let's start with you and talk a bit about what do we know, either from your experience or research or your background. What do we know about incorporating fun, game, play, etc., into the teaching and learning experience?
Well, as teachers know, with the Common Core standards that have recently come out and have put a big constraint on our teachers for what they're doing in their classrooms, it's asking teachers to develop their higher level thinking skills for their students and use those strengths to create critical and creative thinking skills in order to do problem solving. I feel that using games can serve as a bridge to successfully reach those higher levels of thinking, and on top of it all, it's just fun.
Really great points. Thank you, Lori. Shenaya, do you have anything to add to what Lori said?
Yeah, and a lot of the products that we carry here at MindWare really help develop the child in other ways that will increase their learning capabilities. Just giving that child a break to, build or work on a brain teaser puzzle, for instance, giving them a chance to use their other sensory, helps them out a lot with that learning experience.
Very good responses. Thanks, ladies. I know from my own experience in working in the classroom, the whole notion of student engagement is just a really key component of effective teaching and learning. How do you deal, by the way, with controversy about using games in the classroom? Lori, do you ever see like a pushback from anyone about using games in the classroom? And how do you respond to that?
My funniest story or remark back would be that during my trainings, I actually allow the teachers to play the games that I'm asking them to use in the classroom, and quite often I have to try to get them to stop playing those games. And I think it's fantastic when administrators are a part of our trainings and they realize and they're able to see just how engaged and how much strategy has to be involved in to play those. And I think they then see, that these do have a purpose and a place in our classroom with our common standards and especially with how much critical and creative thinking, because that's not something that students are just going to be easily able to do. We have to find ways to bridge that type of a learning skill. And because MindWare products specifically have such a great opportunity for 4 levels worth of play on almost every game. There's really something for everyone, whether you're trying to improve left brain thinking, strategy, logical reasoning, or you're working on that right brain aspect where you're working on creative spatial reasoning. All of those have been very positive. The teachers love them. I can't say enough about them as a parent myself. My 4 kids go crazy when the MindWare box shows up. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's good to know. And I'm so glad that in your training of teachers you are modeling the kind of behavior you're asking teachers to assume in the classroom. And certainly I don't think any of them would say that kids require or fight or request more time to do a worksheet, but they certainly do want to hang in there with those highly motivating materials that often are represented in the form of games. I think that's great. Let's move on to how do you do this exactly, because I know our audience is always interested in specific implementation suggestions. Shenaya, let's start with you on this question. How do you recommend teachers really begin to think about including these kinds of games or highly motivating activities into their regular curriculum, particularly given the focus we have today on assessment, accountability, et cetera? Do you have suggestions for sort of how-to suggestions for teachers?
Well, first, when I speak with teachers, I ask, what is the flow like of their day? Do they jump right into reading? Do they have free, play, and then go into the learning aspect? Because a lot of our products can be used at any point of the day, especially in the morning, using our brain teasers, deductive reasoning, and, the hands-on approach that we have with a lot of our games, building strategy skills. A lot of that can be incorporated and be related to throughout the day with math, the reading comprehension aspect. So usually I just ask how they start their day and how I can just walk them through and creating and to making it a little bit more fun. And so what I've found that with the products that we recommend to our teachers, some of the students even write into us, thanking us for the product, also giving us their rendition of a brain teaser or a puzzle or something that we can add. So it's definitely reciprocal, the effects that our products have in the classroom.
That's a great suggestion. I love your idea of just asking teachers what they already do, and then deciding how to incorporate this strategy into their regular day. I think sometimes we ask too much of teachers to sort of overhaul everything, so that's a very, very good suggestion. Lori, what can you add to what Shenaya said in terms of suggestions for teachers to consider when moving in this direction?
During my trainings, I like to start even my own workshops, again, by modeling what I would like the teachers to do in the classroom, and we do a lot of that with brain break starters, especially for students coming in after lunch or after a recess to settle down. The introduction of new material or very difficult, hard material as you get to the middle school, high school level of teachers, by opening those kind of activities, it opens the neural pathways to make the connections for kids and allows, I just tell them it gets that brain ready for them to learn those new materials. I also work really hard in my trainings to work on visual auditory kinesthetic or multiple intelligences by Howard Gardner. I have a lot of teachers who, once they find out how their students are smart, we find ways to incorporate a lot of those games in a way that either strengthens a specific skill of theirs that they already possess, or someone who may be weak in visual spatial, we can recommend different games like Blocus or the dot-to-dot extremes that are ways for those kids to build that strength and see that wow, I can do this and I can be successful, and then they make that transfer into that classroom with specific vocabulary. You might also find out with the visual auditory kinesthetic, a child who does rush hour and loves it, extremely by moving the cars all around in order to solve and do that thinking is the kind of student that when you set up a science experiment is going to love that type of learning, and they know they're good at it. And I just see that transfer, and so do the teachers that I work with, see that transfer of allowing that feeling of success, which was what we want from all of our students, And just allowing that to happen is just amazing, and that transfer is outstanding.
Oh, great. Those are really, really great suggestions. All right, let's move on to the final question that we have today, because I'm always interested. I know one of the big challenges that teachers face is just classroom management technique and how to keep kids engaged and busy in a way that results in an organized and orderly classroom. Lori, tell us a little bit about how you see this kind of technique, instructional methodology, namely using games. How does that help teachers with classroom management issues?
I do agree that today teachers are asked more and more to provide multiple levels of teaching using a variety of different methods to reach those high levels of learning and to shift that accountability to their students. The process is very challenging and stressful for both the teacher and the learner. And I believe that when students are thinking at a level that is neither too easy nor too difficult, the classroom management and behavior is improved. And I feel that by using those games or allowing that play to learn vocabulary or as an anchor activity with multiple levels, using centers and allowing the students to work at a level that is just right where they need to be, the learning is inspiring and improving and engaging, and the management becomes very positive.
Terrific. I guess good teaching is always the best approach for good classroom management. Shenaya, do you have anything to add to Lori's comment there?
Yeah, I agree with Lori. Anytime you're able to break up that day and work in smaller groups so the teacher's able to rotate and spend more time with the other children that may need a little extra help or, just trying to keep everyone on one accord in a sound classroom, it definitely benefits the teacher big time.
Right. Terrific. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. I want to, again, thank Lori Johnson and Shenaya Shannon for your thoughts, your insights, and sharing your expertise with our teachers out there. And to our listening audience, if you would like to learn more about the topic we discussed today or about the sponsor of this Wattcast, MindWare, we hope you'll visit our Wattcast page at weareteachers.com. Also, we would love to hear your ideas, so please feel free to comment on this Wattcast once you listen to it. And if you have any suggestions for new topics we should cover in our Wattcast series, we hope that you will email us at wattcast@weareteachers.com. We want to thank you again for joining us, and we hope you all have a terrific day.